I would go to Ranveer Singh and I would say, which Hollywood, if Deepika didn't exist, which Hollywood actress would you have fallen in love with and married? And then I would just wait for that
Mm.
headline to print out and play out, and I would just take
That
in
is a
all.
little, that's like
Take,
low-key dramatic.
100% dramatic. If I had seen more of myself growing up, my upbringing, my confidence might have been different as an adult, you know? My experience just dealing with a lot of insecurities probably would have been different. So it is important for me to have diverse stories.
I am fully a black woman just because that's who I am. So I am black enough. And so yeah, but I think it's just like an emotional experience. I think a lot of people end up having, and yeah, but I feel like I'm very cognizant of it and have worked through it a lot. And I think I'm just a lot more comfortable with just being myself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rajani, and welcome to Speak Easy. My guests today are funny and sassy, almost like their on-screen characters. I'm talking about the very talented Lily Singh and Zazie Beetz. Hello. How are you guys doing today?
Fantastic. Thanks for
Good.
having us.
Yeah.
I think both your characters, and this doesn't always happen when you do animated characters, are almost, you look at them and you're like, oh, that is Lily Singh and that is Jessie. They're like sassy and they're fun. So Lily, how was it looking at your mini-me version, literally?
It was really sweet because I think I've said this before. I was very adamant on her looking South Asian and like me. I thought that was really important.
Did you?
I did.
Oh, well, that's good.
I did. Before, when I first saw some sketches that were not colored and they're just very preliminary, I was like, I really want her to make sure she looks kind of a little bit like me. I thought that was important because, kids watch these movies and I want them to see themselves, and so that was important to me. And she's got long hair and she just looks so cute, and so I'm so thrilled with how she turned out. I think she's absolutely adorable.
Yeah.
I
and
love that.
Yeah, and I my character too. I just thought she was so cute. We were just talking about how attractive she is.
Yeah, we're both attracted to Zazie's character.
To the
for sure.
fox. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Tell me now, when you are, for a while, I think both of you have been trying to get roles that go beyond looking at a person from a certain lens. Do you think that has been breaking? Because both of you, and I think, have been successfully and really, really trying to do that.
Yeah, it's definitely important to me. It's a lot of why I do what I do, is to try to pave a path, and representation really does matter to me. And I always think about, if I had seen more of myself growing up, my upbringing, my confidence might have been different as an adult, my experience just dealing with a lot of insecurities probably would have been different. So it is important for me to have diverse stories. I always say that there should be stories for everyone in the world, but not every story needs to be about everyone in the world, and so that is definitely part of my mission. I think we're definitely making strides. I mean, we're both sitting here, which is great. Does work still need to be done? Absolutely. I think we need people of color, women of color in rooms where decisions are made, and that's what I'm striving to do as well. So absolutely.
Nice.
Yay. A lot of people from mixed races, like, and I'm one, and I understand that, where you said that, I don't know if I was Black enough or I was German enough, and even for the roles that you're tested for, I want you to talk about that a little bit as well. And I think it's so important.
Yeah, I think, obviously I am Black and I am German. I am wholly both. But, I think that we're all individuals, right? And there's no monolith for what a culture is, what parts of your culture you're supposed to or not supposed to embody. And so I think everybody, I'm sure, has elements of that in their character where, they feel like they potentially have interests or ways of being that seem different from what your sort of community is supposed to be, and that can make you, I think, question what your identity is. But ultimately, our identity is just ourselves. I am fully a Black woman just because that's who I am. So I am Black enough. And so yeah, but I think it's just like an emotional experience. I think a lot of people end up having, and yeah, but I feel like I'm very cognizant of it and have worked through it a lot. And I think I'm just a lot more comfortable with just being myself.
And I love that. Lily, you are playing this very cool reporter. Might I say, maybe like a very sharp one. What is one question that you would ask to any celebrity if you were playing yourself? What would you ask, and what would that be?
Ooh, any celebrity, what would I ask? Well, the thing about Tiffany is Tiffany's goal is to be the first on the scene. She wants to have the buzzy headline. She wants to make sure that she grasps people's attention,
Exactly.
even if at any moral cost, to be honest. So I feel like I would have to ask something really dramatic. Like, I would want the headline. So I'd probably ask something like, who's someone that you would love to make out with? Who's someone you'd love to punch in the face? Who is
You
someone
know,
that
tell me a
you'd
celebrity
like
you'd
to?
ask that to.
Oh,
Who is
celebrity.
celebrity?
Oh, okay. Well, if saying how this is for India, oh, perfect. I would go to Ranveer Singh, and I would say, because I know he'll be so honest and he has no ability to probably lie because he's just such an honest, energetic person. I would go to Ranveer Singh and I would say, which Hollywood, if Deepika didn't exist, which Hollywood actress would you have fallen in love with and married? And then I would just wait for that headline to print out and play out, and I would just take
That
it
is
all.
that's like low-key dramatic.
100% dramatic. Not that I'm saying that should
Everybody-
happen. Deepika and Ranveer are I have a shrine to
know.
them in my home. But I'm saying Tiffany would do that for sure.
Yeah, Tiffany is a go-getter. We must say that. To end it, Jazzy, interestingly, if in your character, I feel like she's this Paris kind of woman, and if you got to be in a position like that, what would you change about the city, if not the country? And if you were in that position,
No pressure. What would you change about the country?
Gosh. I guess what would I change? I would make if we're being honest, one thing, what would I change? I'd try to make all public schools of equal quality, equal funding, so every child has an opportunity to get equal education.
That's a really good answer.
wow,
would
that's a great
try.
answer. Ladies and gentlemen, meet the good girls and the bad guys. I must say, I must talk in Hindi with you and say, बहुत अच्छा लगा. Lots of love to both of
Thank
you.
you so much. Bahut shukriya.
Thank you.
Bye.
And I am rooting for both of you, and I hope to see so much more of you.
Thank
Lots
you.
of love.
Lately, audiences are so freaked out because everybody knows what's happening in the world, and it becomes very difficult to just be entertaining. So all I can do is make reality seem a little less threatening, or at least enable them to accept it in a comedic way. So I mean, yeah, it's totally seeped into everything. I mean, how can you just go up there and be like, hey, everything's okay? Not a chance, right, Craig?
No, actually, I happen to be the one who does go up and goes, hey, everything's okay. I don't think you go to the comedy show for careful, for people to be careful. You go to, hear some edge.
I can't say that I'm like Snake all the time, but I can be a little cranky, a little defensive, and a little insecure at times.
Hello, everyone. I'm Vidrani, and welcome to Speak Easy. My guests today are extremely funny, and also they happen to make bad look really good. I'm talking about the talented actors, Craig Robinson and Marc Maron. All right.
Well, thank you.
Different degrees of bad, right here.
Yeah, kind of. What's the most adorable thing about Mr. Shark is the fact that he actually believes that he's such a chameleon. What were the characteristics that you kind of also related to?
Well, it's his commitment to his characters, and I think the people around him believe it too. He is who he says he is, because he always gets in and out. He always wins, and I have that commitment with whatever I'm doing. So I just brought that to Mr. Shark to make sure that he could get in and out of these rooms efficiently, even if it's him having a baby.
Mark, people on the internet have often said, that Marc Maron is my spirit animal. Do you think Snake is your spirit animal?
Well, he certainly has some part of me. I can't say that I'm like Snake all the time, but I can be a little cranky, a little defensive, and a little insecure at times. But I think not unlike Snake, he's got a pretty good heart, that thing, and he could be my spirit animal, sure.
Before I go back to Craig, Mark, it's interesting because you are someone who's been in the comedy circuit for such a long time, and you've always been someone who always wanted to start off with stand-up comedy yourself, and you didn't want to do anything else. Tell me now, when you see the comedic writing or even going on stage, do you sometimes feel like the world around you, keeping in mind their sentiments and how they feel about it, sort of has seeped into the writing of comedy as well? And does that make your situation difficult?
Oh, well, I all I talk about is how horrible everything is. So I'm right at lately, audiences are so freaked out because everybody knows what's happening in the world, and it becomes very difficult to just be entertaining. So all I can do is make reality seem a little less threatening, or at least enable them to accept it in a comedic way. So I mean, yeah, it's totally seeped into everything. I mean, how can you just go up there and be like, hey, everything's okay? Not a chance, right, Craig?
No, actually, I happen to be the one who does go up and goes, hey, everything's okay. Because I bring a keyboard into my act and I just, I take people's minds off of whatever's going on around.
Not me.
For those 45 minutes, you are mine, and I'm going to entertain and tickle your your soul.
Yeah, I should tour with him. It'd be a nice balance.
Sweet and sour.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I don't know that I'm any more careful because like I'm not. I was never doing any. I just find you figure out the pulse. I talk about things in a certain way. I find that I'm just as freaked out as most people, and a lot of my comedy comes from trying to figure out how to handle that. I'm processing the world on stage. That's what I do, and I think that the people that know me expect me to do that.
Fair enough. Craig, you've been doing different kind of stuff besides comedy, but I know that sometimes when something's popular, people especially actors are expected to do the certain kind of thing. Do you think now people are giving you different kind of roles, or at least trying to explore what has been explored already in you?
I'm not sure what people's expectations are. I just know that I exceed them. I just get up and to your point about being more careful. I don't think you go to the comedy show for careful for people to be careful. You go to hear some edge. So there won't be any of that. No. Any
Fair enough.
carefulness.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much. And I just want to say, I think both of you are amazing. And I think you're amazing in Glow as well, Mark.
Thank you.
So thank you. All the very best. I'm looking forward to watching the really entertaining Bad Guys.
Okay.
Thank you.